ॐ श्री गणेशाय नमः। ॐ ऐं सरस्वत्यै नमः। ॐ श्री गुरुचरणकमलभ्यो नमः। रामाय रामभद्राय रामचन्द्राय वेदसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीताय पतये नमः। अवधपुरी अति रुचिर बनाई देवन सुमन वृष्ट घरि लाई। राम कहा सेवकन बुलाई प्रथम सकिन्ह अनवावहु जाई। सुनत वचन चाहतः जन धाये सुग्रीवादि तुरत अनवाए। पुण्य करुणा निधि भरतु हकारे निज कर राम जटा निरुहारे। आनवाए प्रभु तीनऊ भाई भगत बच्छल कृपाल रघुराई। भरत भाग्य प्रभु कोमल ताई शेष कोटि सत सकहि न जाई। पुनि निज जटा राम बिबराए गुर अनुशासन मागी नहाए। करि मज्जनु प्रभु भूषण साजे अंग अनंग कोटि छवि छाजे। श्री राम जय जय राम। श्री राम जय जय राम। शासन है सादर जानकी मज्जनु तुरत कराई। दिव्य बसन वर भूषण अंग अंग सज बनाई। राम बान दिसि शोभित रमा रमा रूप गुण खानी। देखि मातु सब हर्षि जन्म सुफल निज जान सिया। पति रामचंद्र जी की जय शरणम। सुन खोगे सत्ते अवसर ब्रह्मा शिव मुनि वृंद। छोड़ी विमान आए सब सुर देखन सुखंद सिया। पति रामचंद्र जी की जय शरणम। श्री राम जय जय राम। रघुपति राघव राजा राम। प्रभु बिलोके मुनि मनु अनुरागा। तुरत दिव्य सिंहासनु मागा। रवि सम तेज सोबरनि न जाई। बैठे राम द्विजन सिरुनाई। जनक सुता समेत रघुराई। देखे प्रहरेशु मुनि समुद आई। वेद मंत्र तब द्विजन उचारे। नभ सुर मुनि जय जयति पुकारे। प्रथम तिलोक वसिष्ठ मुनि कीन्हा। पुनि सब विप्रन आए सुदीना, सुत बिलो की हर्षि महतारी, बार बार आरती उतारी। विप्रन दान विधि विधि दीने, जाचक जाचक सकल अजाचक कीन्हे। सिंहासन पद त्रिभुवन साई, देख सुरन दुंदुभि बजाई। श्री राम जय जय रामा, रघुपति राघव राजा रामा, रघुपति राघव राजा रामा। नव दुंदुभि बाजहि विपुल गंधर्व, किन्नर गावहि नाचिन्हि अपच्छ्राब्रु परमानंद। सुर मुनि पावहि भरतादि अनुज, विभीषणं गद हनुमन आदि समेत ते। कहि छत्र चामर व्यजनु धनु, असि चर्म शक्ति विराजते। श्री रामचंद्र कृपालु भज मन, हरण भव भय दारुणम्। नव कंज लोचन कंज मुख, कर कंज पद कंजारुणम्। श्री सहित दिन कर बस भूषण, काम बहु छवि सोहहि। नव अंबुधर बर कात अंबर, पीत मुनि मन मोहई। मुकुटागदादिति चित्रभूषण, अंग अंगिन प्रति सजे। अम्भोज नयन विशाल, उर्भुज धन्य नर निरखन्ति ते। श्री राम श्री राम श्री राम श्री राम। वह शोभा समाज सुख कात, न बने खागे। बरणे सारद शेष श्रुति, सोरस जान महेश। भिन्न भिन्न स्तुति कर गए, सुर निज निज धाम। बंदी वेश वेद तब आए जहाँ, श्री राम प्रभु सर्वज्ञ किन्ह अति आदर। कृपा निधान लखेउ न काहू मरमु, कछु लगे करम गुणगान। जय सगुण निर्गुण रूप रूप, अनूप भूप शिरोमणि। दस कंधरादि प्रचंड निशिचर, प्रबल खल भुज बल हने। अवतार नर संसार, भार विभंज दारुण दुख दहे। जय प्रणत पाल दयाल प्रभु, संयुक्त शक्ति नमामहे। तब भीषम माया बस सुरासुर, नाग नर अग जग हरे। भव पंथ भ्रमत श्रीमती श्रमति दिवस, निसी काल कर्म गुण भरे। जे नाथ कर करुणा बिलोके त्रिविध दुख ते निर्वहे भवखेद छेदन दक्ष हम कहो रक्ष राम नमामहे जे ज्ञान मान विमत्त तव भवहरणि भगति नादरी ते पाय सुर दुर्लभ पदादि परत हम देखत हरि श्री रामचंद्र कृपालु भज मन हरण भव भय दारुणम नवकंज लोचन कंज मुख कर कंज पद कंजारुणम विश्वास कर सब आस परिहरिदास तव जे होई रहे जपि नाम तव बिनु श्रम तरहि भवनाथ सो समरामहे श्री राम जय चरण शिव अज पूज रज शुभ परसि मुनि पतिनी तरी नख निर्गता मुनि बंदिता त्रैलोक पावनि सुर सरी ध्वज कुलिस अंकुश कंज जुत बन फिरत कंटक किनी लहे पद कंज द्वंद मुकुंद राम रमेश नित्य भजामहे श्री राम श्री राम श्री राम श्री राम अव्यक्त मूल मनादि तरु त्वच चारिनिगमागम भने षट्कंध शाखा पंचबीस अनेक पर्ण सुमन घने फल जुगल विधि कटु मधुर बेली अकेली जेहि आश्रित रहे पल्लवत पुल्लत नवल नित संसार बिटप नमः श्री राम श्री राम श्री राम श्री राम जय ब्रह्म अजम द्वैतमनु भवगम्य मनापुर ध्यावहि ते कहूँ जानहु नाथ हम तव सगुण जसु नित गावहि करुणायतन प्रभु सद्गुणाकर देव येह परमागहि मन वचन कर्म विकार तजि तव चरण हम अनुरागहि श्री राम श्री राम श्री राम श्री राम सबके देखत बेदन विनती कीन उदार राम विनती कीन उदार अंतरधाम भये पुनि गए ब्रह्म अवगार सियापति रामचंद्र जी की जय शरणम पेय तेय सुनु संभुतव आए चाहा रघुवीर राम आए चाहा रघुवीर विनय तरत गद गद गिरा, पूर्त पुलक शरीर सियापति रामचंद्र जी की जय शरणम। जय राम रमारण समनन, भवताप भय कुल पाचनन। अवध देश सुर एस समेस विभो, शरणगात मागत पाहि प्रभो। दस शीस बिनासन 20 भजा, कृत दूरी महामहि भूरि रोजा। रजनी चर वृंद पतंग रहे, सरपावक तेज प्रचंड है। महिमंडल मंडन चारूदर्डन, द्रुत सायक चाप निशंगर। मंद मोह महाममता रजनी, समपूंज दिवाकर तेज अली। श्री राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय जय राम। मन जात की रात निपात किए, मृग लोग को भोग सरे नहीं। हत्ती हाथ अनातिन पाही रहे, विषय बन पावर भूलि परे। बहु रोग वियोग न लोगे, बंद वृक्र निरादर के फले। भव सिंधु आगाध पर नरते, पद पंकज प्रभु नचे करते। अति दीन मलिन दुखी दिन नहीं, चंद्र के पद पंकज प्रति नहीं। अवलंब अवलंब भवंत कथा जिन्हके, प्रिय संत अनंत सदा तिनके। नहीं राग न लोभ न मान मदा, तिनके सम वैभव विपदा। एहि ते तव सेवक होत मुदा, मुनि त्यागता जोग बरोस सदा। करि प्रभु निरंतर नेमु लिए, पद पंकज सेवत सुधरिए। सममानी निरारह आदर, सब संत सुखी विचरन्ति मही। मुनि मानहु पंकज वृंग भजे, रघुवीर महारन धीरजे। तब नाम जपामि नमाहि हरि, भव रोग महागत मानरि। गुणशील कृपा परमायतन, प्रणमामि निरंतर रघुनन्दन कन्दय वितं घन महिपाल बिलोकय दीन जन। श्री राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय जय राम। बार बार बर मांगो हर्षि देहु श्रीरंग, पद सरोजन पायनी भगति सदा सतसंग। बरनी उमापनि राम गुण हरि गई, कैलास श्री राम। तब प्रभु कपिन देवाये सब विधि, सुखप्रद बास श्री राम सिया पति रामचंद्र जी की जय शरणम। श्री राम जय जय राम, रघुपति राघव राजा राम। श्री राम जय जय राम, रघुपति राघव राजा राम। सुन भोगपति यही कथा पवनी, त्रिविध ताप भव भय दावनी। महाराज कर शुभ अभिषेका, सुनत लहि नर बिरति विवेका। जैस काम नर सुनहि जगावहि, सुख संपत्ति नाना विधि पावहि। सुर दुर्लभ सुख करि जग माही, अंतकाल रघुपति पुर जाई। सुनहि विमुक्त बिरल अरुदिशई, बिहि भगति गत संपत्ति नाई। खगपति राम कथा मैं भरणी, स्वमत विश्लाघ त्रास दुख हरणी। बिरति विवेक भगति दृढ़ करणी, मोहनती कहूँ सुंदर धरणी। नित नव मंगल कौशल पूरी, हर्षित रहे लोग सब पूरी। नित नई प्रीति राम पद पंकज, सबके जिन्हि नमत शिव मुनि अज। मंगन बहु प्रकार पहिराए, द्विजन दान नाना विधि पाए। श्री राम जय जय राम, रघुपति राघव राजा राम। ब्रह्मानंद मगन कपि सबके प्रभु पद प्रीति, जाति ने जाति दिवस तिन्ह काईवास बट बीत। सियापति रामचंद्र पद जय शरणम। बिसर गृहे सपने सुनि नाई, जिने प्रद्रोह संत मन माही। तब रघुपति सब सुख बिलोगाए, आए सबहि सादर सिरुनाए। परम प्रीति समीप बैठारे, भगत सुखद मृद वचन उचारे। तुम अति कीन मोरी सेवकाई, मुख पर के विधि कौर बढ़ाई। ताते तुम मोही अति प्रिय लागे, मम हित लाग भवन सुख त्यागे अनुज राज संपत्ति वैदेही देह गेह परिवार सनेही सब मम प्रिय नहीं तुम समाना मृषा न कहो मोर यही बाना सबके प्रिय सेवक यही नीति मोरे अधिक दास पर प्रीति श्री राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम अब गृह चह सुखा सब बचे मोहि दृढ़ने सदा सर्गत सर्वहित जानी करहु अति प्रेम सिया पति रामचंद्र जी की जय शरणम श्री राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम सुनि प्रभु वचन मगन सब भाई को हम कहा विसरी तन गए एकट रहे जोर कर आगे सकही न कहीं कछु अति अनुरागे परम प्रभु तिन्ह कर प्रभु देखा कहा विविध विधि ज्ञान विशेषा प्रभु सन्मुख कच कहे न पारही पुनि पुनि चरण सरोज निहारही तब प्रभु भूषण बसन भगाए नाना रंग अनूप सुहाए सुग्रीव ही प्रथम ही पहिराए बसन भरत निज हाथ बनाए प्रभु प्रेरित लक्ष्मण पहिराए लंकापति रघुपति मन पाए अंगद बैठ रहा नहीं डोला प्रीति देखी प्रभुताही न बोला श्री राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जाम्बवंत नीलादि सब पहिराए रघुनाथ हिय धरि राम रूप सब चले नाई पदमा तब अंगद उठी नाई सिर सजल नयन कर जोरी अति विनीत बोले बचन मनहु प्रेम रस बोर सिया पर रामचंद्र जी की जय शरणम श्री राम जय राम श्री राम जय राम सुनु सर्वज्ञ कृपा सुख सिंधु दीन दया कर आरत बंधो मरति बार नाथ मोहि बाली गए तुम्हारे कौन से खाली आसरन शरण बिरुधु संहारी मोहि जनी तजहु भगत हितकारी मोरे तुम्हा प्रभु गुर पित माता गाये कहा तजपत जल जाता तुम्हारी विचारी कहो नर नाहा प्रभु तजि भवन काज मम काहा। बालक ज्ञान बुद्धि बलहीना, राखहु शरणनाथ जन दीना। नीचित हल गृह के सब करी हो, पद पंकज बिलोकी भवतरी हो। अस कहि चरण परेयो प्रभु पाही, अब जनिनाथ कहु गृह आई। श्री राम जय राम जय जय रामा, श्री राम जय राम जय जय रामा। अंगद वचन विनीत सुनी, रघुपति करुणा सी। प्रभु ठाई और लाई, सजल नयन राजी। निज उर माल बसन, मनि भालि तनय पहिराई। विदा कीन्ह भगवान तब, बहु प्रकार समझाई सिया। पति रामचंद्र जी की जय शरणम। भरत अनुज सौमित्र समेता, पटन वन चले भगत कृत चेता। अंगद हृदय प्रेम नहीं थोरा, फिरी फिरी चितव राम की ओरा। बार बार कद दंड प्रणामा, मन असरहन कहि मोहि रामा। राम बिलो कही बोलह चलनी, सुमिर सुमिर सोचत हसी मिलही। प्रभु रुचि देखि विनय बहुभाषी, चलयो हृदय पंकज राखी। अति आदर सब कपि पहुँचाए, भाई न सहित भरत पुनि आए। तब सुग्रीव चरण कहि नाना, भांति विनय कीन्ही हनुमाना। दिन 10 करि रघुपति पद सेवा, पुनि तब चरण देखो देवा। पुण्य पुंज तुम पवन कुमारा, सेवहु जाय कृपा गारा। अस कहि कपि सब चले तुरंता, अंगद कहे सुनहु हनुमंता। श्री राम जय जय रामा, रघुपति राघव राजा रामा। कहे दुंदुवत प्रभु से, तुम ही कहो कर जोरी। बार बार रघुनायक ही, सुरतिक रागहु मोरी। अस कही चले उबाली सुता, फिर आए हो हनुमंत। दासु प्रीति प्रभु सुन कही, मगन भये भगवंत सिया। पति रामचंद्र जी की जय शरणम। कुलि सहु चाहि कठोर अति, कोमल कसमहु चाहि। चित्त खगेश राम कर, समुझ परे कह काय सिया। पति रामचंद्र जी की जय शरणम। पुनि कृपाल लियो बोली निषादा दीने भूषण बसन प्रसादा जाहु भवन मम सुमिरन करे हूँ मन क्रम वचन धर्म अनुसरे हूँ तुम मम सखा भरत सम भ्राता सदा रहे हूँ पर आवत जाता बचन सुनत उपजा सुख भारी परयु चरण भरी लोचन बारी चरण नलिन उर धरि गृहावा प्रभु स्वभाव परिजननु सुनावा रघुपति चरित देखी पुरवासी पुनि पुनि कहत धन्य सुख राशि राम राज्य बैठे त्रय लोका हर्षित भये गए सब सोका बयरु न कर काहू सन कोई राम प्रताप विषमता कोई वर्णाश्रम निज निज धर्म निरंतर भेद लगे चहित सदा पावहि सुख नाति भयो सुन रोग सियापति रामचंद्र जी की जय पवन सुत हनुमान जी की जय अयोध्या राम लला की जय शरणम
The Shadoha chanting just ended by Sri Girish Sibhu, Uttarakhand, verses 11 to 20, live on 101.7 FM from the Kartal Krishna Mandir. We say a special thanks to all our corporate sponsors who made this broadcast possible: T.N. Ramnath and Company Limited, CP's Plumbing and Electrical Supplies, A1 Motor Supplies, Boss Securities Limited, R. Bhagwat and Sons Limited, Prasad's Investment Limited, Laura Construction Company and L&R Rajaram Contracting Services, Jwala Prasad Supermarket and Prasad Home Improvement Store. Swami is on his Singhasan and just about ready to begin, so we go straight over to Swami Prakashananda.
अब मोहि भरोस हनुमंता
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम
बिनो हरि कृपा मिलहि नहीं संता
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम
अब मोहि भरोस हनुमंता
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम
अब मोहि भरोस हनुमंता
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम
बिनु हरि कृपा मिलहि नहीं संता
श्री राम जय जय राम
एहि सन हठि करी हऊ पहचानी
श्री राम जय जय राम
साधु ते होई न तार जहानी
श्री राम जय जय राम
एहि सन हठि करी हऊ पहचानी
श्री राम जय
अधुत होई न कारज हानि।
श्री राम जय जय राम।
जिनके रही भावना जैसी।
श्री राम जय राम।
प्रभु मूरति तिन देखी तैसी।
श्री राम जय राम।
जिनके रही भावना जैसी।
श्री राम जय राम।
जिनके रही भावना जैसी।
श्री राम जय राम।
प्रभु मूरति तिन देखी तैसी।
श्री राम जय राम।
प्रभु मूरति तिन देखी तैसी।
श्री राम जय राम।
कोमल चित अति दीन दयाला।
श्री राम जय राम।
कारण बिनु रघुनाथ कृपाला।
श्री राम जय राम।
कारण बिनु रघुनाथ कृपाला।
श्री राम जय राम।
सीता राम चरण रति मोरे।
श्री राम जय राम।
अनुदिन बढ़ऊ अनुग्रह तोरे।
श्री राम जय राम।
सीता राम चरण रति मोरे।
श्री राम जय राम।
अनुदिन बढ़ऊ अनुग्रह तोरे।
श्री राम जय राम।
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम।
श्री राम जय राम।
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम। श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम। श्यावर रामचंद्र की। गजाननम भूतगणादिसेवितम् कपितजम्बू फलसारभक्षणम् उमासुतं शोकविनाशकारणम् नमामि विघ्नेश्वर पादपङ्कजम्। या कुन्देन्दुतुषारहारधवला या शुभ्रवस्त्रावृता या वीणावरदण्डमण्डितकरा या श्वेतपद्मासना या ब्रह्माच्युतशङ्कर प्रभृतिभिः देवै सदा वन्दिता। सामां पातु सरस्वती भगवती सामां पातु सरस्वती भगवती निःशेष जाड्यापः गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः लोकाभिरामं रणरङ्गधीरं राजीवनेत्रं रघुवंशनाथं कारुण्यरूपं करुणाकरं तं श्रीरामचन्द्रं शरणं प्रपद्ये मनोजवं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं धीमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयूथमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शिरसा नमामि बोलो राम 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 सीता राम राम राम
बोलो राम 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 सीता राम राम राम
राजा राम 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 सीता राम राम राम
राजा राम 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 सीता राम राम राम
मंगल भवन मंगलहारी द्रवहु दशरथ अजर बिहारी
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम
राम सदा से वके रुचि राखी वेद पुराण साधु सुर साखी
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम
राम चरण बाई रिज जब देखूं तब निज जन्म सफल करी लेखूं
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम
रामचंद्र गुण बरन लागा सुनत ही सीता कर दुख भागा
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम
बिनु सतसंग भी न होई, राम कृपा बिनु सुलभ न सोई।
श्री राम जय राम, जय जय राम। श्री राम जय राम, जय जय राम।
राम कथा के देई अधिकारी, जिनके सत्संग गति अति प्यारी।
श्री राम जय राम, जय जय राम। श्री राम जय राम, जय जय राम।
मोहे बहु तुम गुरु पितु माता, जाओ कहाँ तजी पद जल जाता।
श्री राम जय राम, जय जय राम। श्री राम जय राम, जय जय राम।
बोलो राम 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 सीता राम राम राम।
बोलो राम राम राम, सीता राम राम राम।
राजा राम 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 सीता राम राम राम।
राजा राम राम राम, सीता राम राम राम।
हरे राम 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 सीता राम राम राम।
हरे राम राम राम, सीता राम राम राम।
श्यावर रामचंद्र की जय। Okay, so last night when we left it, we saw the removal of Ravan finally in this long Lanka kind of gruesome fighting. And if you read those, many of the verses we just left out, but you go and read them, some really, war is not a pretty thing. Really gruesome things happen. And very interestingly, the whole of human civilization is fraught with war. Everywhere there, war from, it's always been there. If you see all the avatars also come there to remove this Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu, and that speaks about the duality which makes up the universe. You're living in a world of duality, and some things will not go away. Don't dream that one day it will go away. And there is a duality and it will not go away. We have nice imagination and we come up with fanciful things, but they will not happen. This is the definition of Jagat. Dvandva Sansar, it is called in Bhagavad Gita. Now, in that war which took place, Bhagavan was there charged with the duty of removing that Ravan, because Ravan was causing so much trouble to so many people. From the Devatas to all the ordinary rishis and to everybody. I mean, ordinary rishis means rishis on earth. To Devatas and Swarga, to everywhere. So, they pleaded to Bhagavan, please remove this Ravan. And Ravan came, Rama came and removed this Ravan. So this is last night when we saw it. Now there will be a lot of Vedanta in all of this. Last night I told you that we have to see this also from a Vedantic standpoint. Now let us see that. Last verse which we saw last night, Bhagavan removing this Ravan. This is after number 102. Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Rama.
Shri Ram Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Rama.
सायक एक नाभि सरसो श्याम.
Shri Ram Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Rama.
अपर लगे भुज सिर करी रोशा.
Shri Ram Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Rama.
लय सिर बाहु चरे नाराचा.
Shri Ram Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Rama.
सिर भुजहीन रुंदमयी नाचा.
Shri Ram Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Rama.
श्री राम जय राम, जय जय राम.
Shri Ram Jaya Ram, Jaya
जय राम. सियावर रामचंद्र की जय. सायक एक नाभि. Bhagwan fitted 31 arrows simultaneously in his bow, and one hit the navel of that Ravan, where Ravan had there acquired some great boon. And that nectar that was there in his navel, that was protecting his life. Each time he cut off a head or arm, it will grow back. But the first arrow struck that, and then the rest of the arrows struck all of his head and arms, Tulsidashi describes. And that trunk was left now alone, running on the battlefield still. Whereupon Bhagavan pulled out one more arrow and cut it into two. This is a very symbolic thing also. The body belongs to, please pay attention to that, Ravan's body. When he killed Kumbhakaran, he cut his body in two also. Now he kills Bhagavan, he kills Ravan, Bhagavan's arrow splits it in two. Also, same way. That is, the body belongs to the Dvandva Sansar, this Sansar. This is a world of duality. So the body belongs here, because nobody takes their body with them, isn't it? We leave it here. But the Jiva is one with ईश्वर अंश जीव अविनाशी चेतन अमल सहज सुख राशि
Shri Ram Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Rama. Shri Ram Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Rama.
ईश्वर अंश जीव अविनाशी चेतन अमल सहज सुख राशि
Shri Ram Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Rama. Shri Ram Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Rama.
बोलो राम 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 सीता राम राम राम
Bolo Ram Ram Ram, Sita Ram Ram Ram.
राजा राम 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 सीता राम राम राम
Raja Ram Ram Ram, Sita Ram Ram Ram.
श्यावर रामचंद्र की जय. Ishvara Amsa Jiva Vinashi, the Jiva, the one who dwells in this body. And I told on previous days, please use this word. People use all sorts of funny words and different meanings here and there. And use the word Jiva. The one who is dwelling in this body is called as Jiva. It's the Jiva that moves from this body and goes to another body there and another body there and another body goes everywhere. That's called Jiva. The transmigrating being is called as Jiva. So that Jiva is in fact part and parcel of Ishvara. So there is a oneness between Jiva and Ishvara. Ishvara ams. Amai vamsho Jiva loke in Gita. And Ramayana, Ishvara amsa Jiva vinashi. Jiva is an amsha, fraction of Ishvara. And not a fraction. See, when we say fraction, like when you learn fraction in school, right? You have they draw a circle. And then the one slice, a pizza. There's a fraction, right? We're not talking about that type of fraction. We're talking about an inseparable fraction. I'll tell you how. A better example. See, suppose you take a glass, empty glass, and you dip it in the ocean. You dip the empty glass in the ocean. It'll get filled or not? It'll get filled, right? So there will be water inside the glass, and there will also be water outside the glass. So now, what you have in the glass is a fraction of the ocean. You have a fraction of the ocean, but it is not separated from the ocean because you're holding the glass under the water. So an inseparable fraction. This is Jiva and Ishvara. The difference between the two is one is discernible and the other is, discernible means identifiable, demarcated, while the other is a vast, limitless reality. See, the ocean, you don't know where it ends, where it starts. But in this glass, which you are holding under the ocean, that amount of water, it is demarcated, it is delineated, it is separated by that glass. So what separates Jiva from Ishvara? This body. This body is the glass. But Ishvara is all pervasive, like that. That type of fraction we are talking about, and not a separated fraction of Jiva. Otherwise people have, see, I'll tell you, our minds have been tampered with for a long time. You have a Hindu body and you're looking like a Hindu, but your mind has been tampered with and made into something else. So all of us think like people of other religion. We don't think like Hindus. So and we make sentences also in our language. Kaun jane? Upar wale. Who knows? The boss upstairs. Have you heard people say? Who knows? He knows. And where you pointing? In the sky? On the moon? In some planet? Hey, Bhagwan is not upar. Bhagwan is sarvavyapi. We saw this. Right here in Ramayana. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Rama. 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 Hari Vyapak Sarvatra Samana. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Rama. Prem te pragat hoi main jana. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Rama. Hari Vyapak Sarvatra Samana. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Rama. Prem te pragat hoi main jana. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Ramachandra ki jai. Hari Vyapak, Sarvatra Samana. Two words are used there. Two phrases. Hari Vyapak. Vyapak means all pervasive. Sarvatra Samana. Second thing. He is equally present. Not that Bhagwan is present more in the temple and less in your home. Bhagwan is equally present, you know. You don't say, some places Bhagwan thick and some places thinned out. Don't think like that. Hari Vyapaka Sarvatra Samana. All pervasive. That Hari. So, this Jiva who is dwelling in this body is part and parcel of that Hari, that Ishvara. And both are Avinashi. You see? Now, the Jiva in this Ramcharitmanas, in this, not Ramcharitmanas, in this Prasanga means now we have been seeing this war and the removing of Ravan and on in Lanka and all of this thing. So last night I told we are going to see today a little bit of Vedanta. Now, it is, you'll have to, in Trinidad language, you have to bust your brain a little bit. It's not the traditional thing what you are used to hearing and all. Traditional thing was the last 95 days. So today is some heavy Vedanta. If you don't catch it, you don't grasp it and all, don't worry about it. Look, I just told you, Jiva is Avinashi. The Jiva is not going anywhere. We will always be there and the knowledge will always be there. So if I don't get it today, someday I'll get it. So you never have to worry also. Oh, you don't do like dawn music. I'll never get it. I'll never get it. I'll never slam my head on the piano. You'll get it someday. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about slam your head and thing. All right, now, Tulsidas ji, in a very, very wonderful. Now, first of all, Tulsidas ji has not only written Ramcharitmanas, he has written 12 or 13 other books also, texts. So, one of the very famous texts of Tulsidas ji, besides Hanuman Chalisa was very famous, you all know that, right? Besides Hanuman Chalisa, the next most famous one is called as Vinaya Patrika. I don't know if you have heard the name, Vinaya Patrika. But I'm sure you would have heard bhajans from Vinaya Patrika. Songs from Vinaya Patrika. Gaiye Ganapati Jagavandana. You heard? Everybody has heard. That's the first song, that's first bhajan in that book. Not bhajan, it's a compositions, but people sing as bhajans and all, right? Anyway, so like that he has written so many, hundreds will be there in that Vinaya Patrika. So around number 50, 55 and all there, Tulsidas ji himself gives the symbolism. We don't have to go hunting anyway of this whole battle of Lanka. In one small, of course you have to, just like reading anything, you'll have to dig out the words and all. So let me tell you what he says. There. Moha Dasamauli. Moha Dasamauli means Ravan is Dasamauli. Dasamauli means 10-headed, 10-faced. Dasamauli, like Dasamukh, like that. Dasanan, all these words are used for Ravan. So he says, he is Moha. Moha means delusion. Now see, all of these words, I'll have to come back and explain to you just now. But that Tulsidas ji is writing. Moha Dasamauli. Ravan is Dasam. Tad Bhrata, his brother, means who? Kumbhakaran. Tad Bhrata, Kumbhakaran, is Ahankar. Tad Bhrata Ahankara. So Kumbhakara is Ahankar. Ahankar means strong ego. Right? And we'll come back to those words. I'm just telling you the lines now. And Pakari, Kama, I forget the other word he uses for Shanti. Shanti Nashtaha. He uses another word for a Shanti word. But Pakari means Meghnad. So who is there now? Ravan, Kumbhakaran and Meghnad. Meghnad is calm. So now Ravan, Kumbhakaran, Meghnad. Ravan is moha, delusion. Kumbhakaran is ahankar. And see, Tulsidaji himself is giving, so you don't have to go and look anywhere. And the Pakari means now this Meghnad, he is calm. Calm means desire, lust, like that kind of thing. Then Vibhishan is Jiva. Vibhishan is Jiva. The Jiva is living in his body. I was telling you about Jiva just now. Jiva. And finally, what is important, I'm just taking out from that little passage there. Lanka is this body. Vapushu. Vapusha is Lanka, this body. Now, let me just go back over those words again and explain to you what is moha. Moha means, in simple language, wrong understanding. They are called delusion. Moha. If you translate moha word, Sanskrit word into English, delusion. But what is delusion? Delusion means wrong understanding. When a thing is one way, but I see, think or understand it to be another way, that thing is called as moha. And we are born with moha. You don't have to do anything. In fact, every time you celebrate your birthday, you're celebrating moha. Because I am not born. I was there before, living in some other place, and I came to this house. So born means something that was not there and came. But I was there. Correct or not? We were all there. Natve vaham jatunasam natvam neme janadipaha nachaiva na bhavishyamaha sarve vayamata param. Bhagavan tells to Arjuna in Gita, Arjuna, there was never a time when you, nor me, nor any of these kings on this battlefield were not there. We were always there. There was never a time when we were absent. And bahuni me vyatitani janmani tavacha. And you have had countless births, and I have also had countless births. So we were always there. So how you say you were born? It means you just, what you should say, I migrated. That is why it's called transmigration. Have you heard that word? That is the better word. I transmigrated. I migrated from some other place and came here. So, when I think that I was born, or when I think that I will die, that is called delusion, because that is contrary to the fact. That is contrary to truth. So that is called delusion, right? So that Ravan is that delusion. No, what Ravan is this delusion? Let me explain that a little bit further, then you will see. Actually, Ravan's outlook on this universe is quite unique in Ramayana. It is not like any of our outlook which we are now learning from Ramayana and Gita. Ravan actually was one who was attached to power. He really speaking, if you study the life of Ravan, you will realize that Ravan was a tantric who worshipped Shakti only, power. Power, power and power. Ravan did not accept any Sarva-Vyapi Ishvara in his life. He accepted that Lord Shiva is there, and Lord Brahmaji is there, and Bhagavan Vishnu is there. He accepted that. And they have a lot of power. So if I worship them in the right way, I also will get power. And the one who has the most power, he is the boss. This is Ravan's outlook on life. The one who has the most power, he is the boss. He is the master, the ruler. So Ishvara means God for Ravana, Lord Shiva, Brahmaji or Bhagavan Vishnu, they also were not a Sarva-Vyapi Ishvara. They were just powerful beings. And so if I acquire enough power from Brahmaji, from Lord Shiva, from Bhagavan Vishnu, if I acquire enough power from them, I will supersede them also. And this is the definition of Rakshas. Rakshas is one who gets that food or get that power or get that knowledge from some other person and then turns on that person. Like Bhasmasura, you know. Get the power from Bhagavan but just want to try out the power on Bhagavan only. Bhagavan has to run for his life. So this is Rakshas Bhav, Swabhav. So now, this Ravan, who did not believe in any supreme Ishvara of the Puranas or any supreme Parabrahma, Paramatma of the Vedas, Ravan believed in Shakti and power of his own that he has acquired from the rest. So he is a Shakti worshipper. Power is everything. Once I have, and that is why he subjugated the gods to his rule. Conqueror of them, had them standing. We see in Sundarkand, he had them standing like this, and they were just waiting for a sign. He did not even give them the dignity of telling them, okay, do this. He'll just give a sign to the god. That is flaunting power. So this Ravan, who did not believe in a supreme Ishvara, by whose grace he exists also, that Ravan is called as Moha Dasamauli. Because you exist by virtue of an Ishvara in whom you don't believe. You exist only because of Ishvara, but you deny the existence of Ishvara. But that has to be the highest delusion. Because were it not for that Ishvara, he'll be like the Veni magician. Like the Veni magician. Veni magician say, look, at the count of 3, I will disappear. 1, 2, and he disappeared without a trace. Now I could say Veni because there are plenty of Veni in Trinidad, you know. So, the Ishvara is the one who is our very adhisthana, our support. He is the upadana karana and nimitta karana for our existence. He is the one without whom, means if we pull Ishvara from the universe, there is no universe. And we all belong to the universe, isn't it? So pull that Ishvara from the universe. And like for example, in a clay pot, you put a clay pot here, and you only pull clay, leaf pot. I heard John Agitation saying that one day. Them Indian people gone to cut cane, and they carry water in a calabash. They hang up the calabash on a tree, calabash filled with water. Some ants come and eat out the calabash and leave the water hanging. You never hear him say that? I hear him say that one day. Now that is an impossibility or not? That is an impossibility. In the very same way, there is an impossibility of removing Ishvara, who is the substratum or the foundation, Adhar, support of the universe. Removing that Adhar, that's Adhishthan, and the universe still existing. That is not possible. That is why Tulsi Das sings very nicely. Siya Ram mein sab jag jani, karau pranam chori jug pani. Shri Ram Jaya Ram,
Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
सिया राम मैं सब जग जानी, करऊं प्रणाम जोरी जोग पानी. Sita Ram Ram Ram.
Bolo Ram Ram Ram, Sita Ram Ram Ram.
Raja Ram Ram Ram, Sita Ram Ram Ram.
Raja Ram Ram Ram, Sita Ram Ram Ram.
Hare Ram Ram Ram, Sita Ram Ram Ram.
Hare Ram Ram Ram, Sita Ram Ram Ram.
Kya baat hai? Hari Om. Very good. So, Tulsidas ji writes there, the whole universe is Ram. That is the idea. And you take out Ram, what is left? Zilch, we call it. Zero, nothing. Siya Ram mai sab jagat jani, he says. I know that Ram is everything. So now, that Ishvara is the word Ram, Ishvara, same, is the substratum of the whole universe, without which there is no universe. And that is responsible for all of our existence. And Ravan is saying there is no such Ishvara. Ravan is thinking that that is the height of delusion. Your very own substratum, your support, the thing from which you are woven, ota prota, sutre maniganaiva, thing from which you are woven, you deny that. That is like denying your own existence. That is called delusion. So now, in the body of Lanka, see I told you it's not Tulsidaji tells all, Lanka is the body. In the body of Lanka is dwelling Ravan, who is Moha, and is dwelling Vibhishana, who is the Jiva, and is dwelling Ahankar, who is Kumbhakaran, and is dwelling Kama, who is Meghnad. In the body of Lanka, that means all of our body like that. Now, that Jiva is subservient, Vibhishana is subservient to Ravan. So all of these years, I told previously also, Vibhishana has consideration for Ravan. He looks up at Ravan. He allows Ravan to rule. But Moha is not supposed to rule. Who is supposed to rule? The Jiva is supposed to rule. And until and unless that Jiva makes a turn and goes on the other side, until he gives up this subservience to that Moha, delusion, that is going to result in constant pain and sorrow and misery for that Jiva. When he goes on the other side, when he makes the right turn, the correct effort, and goes on the other. And in fact, if you notice one more thing which happened on this side, why Vibhishan left? Vibhishan left because of the intense sorrow. What is intense sorrow? In the body of Lanka, the delusion caused him intense sorrow. His own brother kicked him, correct or not? His own brother kicked him. Who likes to be kicked by their own brother? You think, nah? And look here, even a stranger you don't like. What do you talk about your own brother? You see? So when he received that great sorrow on this side, he turned to Bhagwan. He went and surrendered to Bhagwan. When he went and surrendered to Bhagwan, it is that union with Bhagwan, that being allied with the Lord, just like Sugriv becoming allied with Bhagwan. In the same way, both of them now, Sugriv's case and Vibhishan's case, now with the help of that Bhagwan, they are able to remove this great moha of Ravan, delusion. And things are seen right side up. Of course, in the bargain, they remove the Kumbhakaran, Kamadev, Kama, everything gets removed. But only when that Jiva gives up his alliance with Moha and the Jiva turns to Rama, then only all of this will happen. And that Rama is our best friend, you know. Whichever other friend is there in this world for us. In Trinidad language, they say friend will take you, but they will not bring you. See, everybody, all Trini know. Friends will take you, but they will not bring you. But Rama will take care from beginning to end. In this same battlefield we saw, when Ravan released that spear towards Vibhishan. Rama put Vibhishan behind and he took the spear on his own chest. That is it, Lord. He's taken a vow like that. Mama Pana, he calls it. My vow is to save my devotee. So, in all of this, battle, war, whatever is going on, this Vedanta is there behind also. About the Jiva's alliance with delusion, moha, and that Jiva's unwillingness to turn towards Ishvara. Vibhishan was there. And good thing he had satsang. And how to turn? Actually, people ask that question all the time. He had satsang with Hanumanji. And that's when the whole revolution started. Vibhishan had satsang with Hanumanji. So if we don't find ourselves in satsang, we'll never have that revolution in our life also. To turn towards Bhagwan, keep on the side of Bhagwan, and stay persistently on the side of Bhagwan. We will always be on the other side. And we saw throughout this Ramayana, in all of these years we've been seeing, that devotee who's on Bhagwan's side, when he falls, he also falls on Bhagwan's side. He falls on the right side. Because falling will be there. So, Vibhishan turned, and I told you, we can turn, see. Bhagwan, when we are chanting Bhagavad Gita Dhyanam, we say, is Totra Vetraika Panaye. You heard that line? Totra Vetraika Panaye means in his hand he carries a whip. Bhagwan carries a whip. And that whip is understood best by Trinidadians. Because in Trinidad we have the best phrases in this country. What is the best phrase in Trinidad when it comes to this? If you can't hear, you go, yeah, everybody know that. It means to say, Bhagwan is telling very nicely throughout the scriptures, turn towards Ishvara, turn towards the reality, turn towards the spirituality. Like that, he's telling, turn this way. And he's telling nicely. So we have the opportunity. Vibhishan had, very nicely, Vibhishan had the opportunity to leave there and go or not. He had the opportunity, but nobody was stopping. Vibhishan came over, flew. He had powers just like Ravan almost. He came over the ocean flying. And came on Rama's side. So he had powers. So he could have left any time. But he did not leave. But he's the example of all jivas, all of us. Because we don't hear, so then we have to feel. So now, he wait till the end, till the brother had to kick him. And when the brother kicked him, that is a great sorrow for the one who you looked up at. And he tells it, when Ravan is kicking him, he tells him, oh, you could kick me because you are like my father. He tells. But then immediately leaves. Because it was such a great insult. So, when that happens, when the jiva gets a blow from sansar, that's the other way to say it now. The jiva can leave very nicely and go on the spiritual side, or the jiva has to get a blow. And blows come in so many ways, And they come in so many ways. Different types of things happen, and people turn to this path, to the path of dharma and all of that. So the jiva has to go through. So we have our choices like that. So Vibhishan came. When he came and surrendered to Bhagwan Ram, now that alliance with Bhagwan Ram, finding ourselves in satsang, finding ourselves in the right place, we'll be able to remove that ahankar, remove that moha, remove that kama, all of that. But if we don't find ourselves in the right place, that thing will increase rather than decrease. Samajh mein aa gaye? You got all of this thing, all this symbolism of Ramayana now? Okay. Now, of course, that requires a lot more time and all, but I just gave you the gist of that. Maybe we'll do that in a separate yajna, but we have to continue. Girish ji and all the chanters, they're way ahead of me. They're in the Uttarakhand. Finish. 20 finish. And I'm still Lankakand. Okay. Now, Bhagwan took out an arrow and split that body in two. The body of this Ravan, and he came crashing down on the ground. And then the head and arms and everything landed in front of Mandodari in the palace. And Mandodari, of course, wept profusely, Ravan head in front of her. And all the other queens came there. And the other queens came, and they also tried to console her. And of course, they were weeping as well. And then they brought her from the palace all the way to the battlefield, where Ravan's body was lying there in two pieces. Just now, this is just before 104, Lanka Kanda. 104, if you're... One chanda is there just before 104. Janyo manuj kari danuj kanan dahan pavak hari swayam jehi namat शिव ब्रह्मादि सुर किया अजेहु नहीं करू नामयम जन्मते पर द्रोहरत पापौघमय तव तनु अयम निज धाम राम नमामि ब्रह्म निरामयम् Janyo manuja kari danuja kanan dahana pavaka hari swayam. Mandodari tells many, Mandodari was very wise. When you want to see wise women in this Ramayana, Mandodari, Tara, Kausalya, so such models, role models for civilization, for human beings. Kalabasapati kaha namana. Everybody spoke to you. She's talking to dead Ravan. Ravan who is dead. But she's telling wisdom. Everybody spoke with you, O Ravan. Everybody told you. But you did not. In Trinidad language you say your head hard. You did not listen. Aga Jagannatha Manuja Kari Jana. He's the Lord of the whole universe. Everybody was telling you. But you considered him to be an ordinary human being. Janyo, this is now the chanda we just chanted. Janyo manuja kari danuja kanan. Dahana pavaka hari swayam. The Lord himself came there. The Lord himself appeared. Hari swayam. Hari himself. Who appeared like the fire, pavaka, dahana kanan, to burn down the whole forest of who? Danuja. All Rakshasa. The Bhagavan appeared himself like that, to burn down all of them. Jahi namata siva brahmadi sura piya bhajehu nahi karunamayam. He who is worshipped, Jahi namata, by Lord Shiva, Brahmadi, all Brahmaji and all the devatas. He is worshipped, that Rama, that Lord who is worshipped by all of them. You did not worship him. Even though so many people told. Janmate paradroha rata. Your whole life you spent. See, Mandodari recounting the whole life of Ravan. Your whole life you spent making enmity with everybody and subjugating everybody to your rule and your power. Papa, you're the very embodiment of all papa. Which wife tells her husband when on the deathbed like this? But that shows that Mandodari is totally detached from this. Ravan is Papa Ughamaya. Papa Ughamaya means you are the very, you're woven out of pap. How strong is that thing? Tavatanu ayam. This body of yours. Tumhahu Dio Nijatam Rama Namami Brahma Niramaya. And still that Ram gave you his abode. What a Ram! I do prostration to the Ram. Mandodari. Even though you were like this, that Ram still gave you dispatched you to his own abode. Like that Mandodari. What a wonderful last few words from Mandodari. Then Bhagavan now instructed Vibhishan, Lakshmana, all of them. You all go and do the final rites of Ravan. They went and did the final rites and Teshti Sanskar of Ravan and all. And Mandodari also did Tilanjali, for Ravan. Then again Bhagavan instructed, go and crown Vibhishan. And they went and they crowned Vibhishan. Bhagavan was staying away from capital city and all that. That was part of his. Then after 106 now see, Bhagavan instructs Hanumanji. Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Rama.
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 Muni Prabhu bol liyau Hanumana.
Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Rama.
Lanka jahu gayu Bhagwana.
Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Rama.
Samachar Janaki sunav.
Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Rama.
तासु कुशल लय तुम चली आओ.
Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Rama.
Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Rama.
Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Rama.
Syavar Ramachandra ki jai. Puni Prabhu boli liyau Hanumana. Bhagavan called Hanu. After all the Anteshti Sanskar, the crowning of Vibhishan, Ityadi, all of this, Bhagavan called Hanumanji. Lanka jahu, you go into Lanka now. Hanuman kahevu Bhagavana. Bhagavan told. Then samachar Janakihi sunavahu. And you tell Janaki all the news now. Tell Sitaji all the news. And tasu kusalale, and find out how she's doing. And then come back. Bhagavan gives instructions like this to Hanumanji. And Hanumanji goes there and tells the Sitaji everything. And of course Sitaji is beside herself with joy, happy and all of the things. You'll see so many lines are there. And Hanumanji returns also. And then now Bhagavan Ram sends a whole Jubaraj, Angad, Vibhishan, Maruta Sutta, Hanumanji, all of them, to go and bring her here now. So they went there, and all the Rakshasas saw them coming, and all the same Rakshasas who wanted to lock them up and beat them and all that, come, please come. Welcomed them very nicely, and they showed them where Sitaji is and this and that, and they also prepared nice palanquin for Sitaji and a whole many things like that. And the news reached Bhagavan Ram that Sitaji is going to come on a palanquin. Bhagavan said, no, let her walk. This is a very interesting thing. This is after 107, some lines down, you'll see. And very nice reason Bhagavan also gives for them to walk. Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Rama.
Shri Rama Jaya Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama.
कह रघुबीर कहा मानहु
Shri Rama Jaya Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama.
सीतहि सखा पयाद आनहु
Shri Rama Jaya Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama.
देखहु कपि जन नीकी जाई
Shri Rama Jaya Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama.
बेहसी कहा रघु नाथ गोसाई
Shri Rama Jaya Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama.
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम
Shri Rama Jaya Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama.
कहा रघुवीर कहा मम मानहु. Bhagavan said, now listen to my command, my words. What is that? Sitahi sakha paya deyanahu. Let her drop the palanquin and come on foot. Why? Dekhau kapi. I want all the monkeys to see her. This is a very interesting thing. Culture of the time and very important thing also. And when they see her, they will all consider her to be their mother. Janani ki nai. They will all see her as their own mother. Second thing is, all the monkeys, I told you how many were there? Trillions. Trillions of monkeys. And they were all fighting, and so many gave their lives, and they did not know who they were fighting for. Isn't it? Sitaji was closed up in a palanquin and everything closed. And they did not know who they were fighting for. So how wonderful Rama is also, they should see. And they have an opportunity, all of them now, to see Jagat Janani, the mother of the whole universe. And they get their eyes blessed. So Bhagavan said, let her come on foot there so that they'll all get darshan. Then Bhagavan told to Lakshmana to prepare fire. Fire for Sita ji. Now see, if you go back to Aranyakand, I'm speaking about Ramcharitmanas. You may bring this Ramayana, that Ramayana, so many other Ramayanas now, and you may ask this question and that question, because people ask all the time, why Bhagavan Ram had to put Sita ji through this test and this and that. But that is Valmiki Ramayana. But I don't have Valmiki Ramayana in front of me. I'm reading Ramcharitmanas of Tulsidas ji. So in this Ramcharitmanas, what is the historical fact? What happened there? Bhagavan had instructed Lakshmana. He started there in Aranyakand. He had instructed Lakshmana by sign only. And Lakshmana cut off the ears and nose of Shurpanakha. You know that. Just after that, Shurpanakha went to Kharadusha and Ityadi, and you all know the story and all that. Then Bhagavan told to Sita ji that something is going to happen. Something going to happen means what? Now she will go and she will tell Ravan. The whole story, of course, Bhagavan knows already. She will go and tell Ravan, so big thing is going to happen. And Ravan will come here to kidnap you. So you go into this fire. Sita ji went into a fire, and a pratibimba, image of Sita came out. So Ravan came. Exact image. Ravan came and kidnapped that image. And at the end of that whole episode, Tulsidas ji writes, Lakshmana also did not know that this happened. Very specifically, Tulsidas ji writes, even Lakshmana did not know that this happened. This happened when Lakshmana was away. So, this was known only to whom? Rama and Sita ji, two of them. So now, Bhagwan Ram tells Lakshmana, now in Lanka, after the war now, make a fire. And now Bhagwan Ram is making it look like this fire is going to test Sitaji's purity. But that was not the purpose of making the fire. The purpose of making the fire was for the Pratibimba to go back into the fire and for Sitaji to emerge from the fire. That was the purpose. Lakshmana, Shrikanda Samapavaka Prabesa Kiyo Sumiri Prabhu. Maithili, Sitaji very nicely entered that fire. And it was like cooling, like chandan. For her, it is nothing. She entered the fire and Sumiri Prabhu, and she remembered Bhagwan Ram entering. Jaya Kosale. Now, you might want to know where I am reading from. This is Chanda after 108. 108 Chanda. Down. The Chanda means a 4-line verse, the big verse on him. Jaya Kosale Samahe Sabandi Charana Rati Ati Nirmali Pratibimba Aru Laukika Kalanka Prachanda Pavaka Mahu Jare. All the Pratibimba answered to Siddhasi very nicely. See, very interesting line. Pratibimba Aru Laukika Kalanka Prachanda Pavaka Mahu. I don't have it to chant. Let's chant here. Shrikanda Samapavak Prabes Kiyo Sumiri Prabhu Maithili Jaya Kosale Samahes Bandi Charana Rati Nirmali Pratibimba Arula Kikalanka Prachanda Pavak Mahujare Prabhu Charit Kahuna Lakhena Basura Siddha Muni Dekhahi Khare Shri The interesting line is Pratibimba Aru Laukika Kalanka Prachanda Pavaka Mahu Jare. Means now this Maya Sita, Pratibimba, image of Sita, went into the fire and came out real Sita. But Tulsidaji says, going into the fire, not merely a Maya Sita or an image of Sita, but he says, Laukika Kalanka. And this is the phrase that has caused so much of question in people's mind for so many years. Laukika Kalanka means, you see, in those days, understand this now, in those days, once one king kidnaps a princess, once a king kidnaps a princess and takes that princess to his kingdom, there is no coming back. The princess is thereafter considered to be defiled or something like that. So there is no coming back. So now Rama took back Sita. So that is worldly blemish. The world has that kind of rule. Laukik Kalank means worldly blemish. It means now she walks with a blemish behind her. Oh, you were kidnapped by that king and taken there. You understand this thing? That's called Laukik Kalank. She's walking with this stigma. You were taken by the king into the kingdom. You should have stayed there. But what Bhagwan had made it in such a way that Ravan did not kidnap Sita, he kidnapped a Pratibimba, an image of Sitaji. And so now Tulsidaji says, when this Pratibimba goes into the fire, this stigma and this blemish, the worldly blemish, which is imposed by the world only, this worldly blemish also went into that fire and got burnt. That is the idea. Prabhu Charita kahuna lakhe. And then Tulsidas, Bhagwan's mysteries and his actions and what he does and how he operates, nobody knows. That is a mysterious thing. It's too much for the human intellect to grasp. Prabhu's machinations is too much for our intellect to grasp, you see. Like this fire, it is called as Agni Pariksha, people call it. Fire ordeal or fire test was witnessed by all the gods and devatas and all the munis and everybody who had come to see. Okay, now Bhagavan has to head. Of course, all the devatas came there and sang all sorts of nice stutis and all so many things when Bhagavan removed this Ravan. All that you'll have to read for yourself. Okay, now I will stop and then we will pick up the last bit of this Lanka Kand tomorrow and then we'll move on to Uttar. Okay, now let me tell you some announcements. Tomorrow satsang will be at Guru Dham Mandir, 298 Siparia Old Road, Avocat. Avocat. There's another Avocat in north, not there. There's Avocat in south. Faizabad. Avocat. Okay. Today's Dasha Doha chanting was done by Girish ji and Dudnath ji on tabla. Thank you so much for coming and doing the chanting. We have the various type of fundraisers and all things going on now. Let me just tell you a little bit about them. On 30th, not a fundraiser, but on 30th we have the Varsha Pratipada Sansad. This is coming up just in about 10 days time. Varsha Pratipada Sansad, New Year, Hindu New Year celebration at the Hindu Prachar Kendra from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Okay. You all can tune in also, it will be live. You can see what is happening. We've been celebrating the Hindu New Year for many, many years now. Several Hindu organizations get together, about 15, and we celebrate the Hindu New Year. You can also opt to join this Hindu New Year celebration, at least one time when we all come together. Okay. All right. That is on 30th. Then, from on the 30th of May, from 6 to 8 of May, we have Gurudev Jayanti Yajna at the ashram. Our Puja Gurudev's birthday is on 8th of May. So from 6 to 8 of May, we have Yajna on chapter 12 of Bhagavad Gita at the ashram, 6 to 8. Okay. Then on 30th of May, we have the Chai Sanmelan at the ashram. Chai Sanmelan, all of you know, we have been having this for many, many years. This year, there's some new additions. You can come and try some different varieties of chai. That chai has become very, very popular, and people come from everywhere with their flasks, thermos flasks for chai. But this year we have in a clay pot. You'll have to drink it on the spot. You can take also in your flask, but we have a clay pot chai called Kulhad chai. Then we also have Karak chai this year, some strong cutting chai, lightning chai. Means, what was this? Somebody told me some other word today. I forgot what that word was now, to name it. All right. So come and try out some of the nice things to eat on 30th of May, Indian Arrival Day. Okay. All right. In July, we have our residential camp, 20th to 24th of July. We will be staying everybody will come and stay at the ashram for 5 days. And our Puja Swami Ishwarananji from LA ashram will be coming to join for this camp as well. Those of you who want to sponsor any of the ingredients for the chai and melan, I have a list here. You will find this list at the bookstall also. Where is the bookstall? On that side. Okay. Yeah, bookstall is here. So you'll find a list. I am making, on the day for the chais and melon, I am making kulfi, I am making chai, I am making gourmet pizza, and I am making mishti dahi, and I am making, I think that's about it. So I'll have others helping me make dosa and helping me make also pizzoti. So there's an ingredients list here and the cost. So those who want to sponsor any of the ingredients, you can find this list at the back. Okay. Tomorrow I can tell some of the cost. Okay. Now I'll call on Mr. Dev Narayan, better known as Uncle Spidey, to come and accept a small token of appreciation from our side. This is the whole Ramayana we did in 2017 and 18 on a flash drive for the listening pleasure of you and the members of the temple. And Narayanji will also give a vote of thanks. Please have a look at our bookstall. Many titles are there that you can buy. Dharma, oh, it's a terrific topic. Please see the bookstall, so all the titles are there. Okay.
Sitaram, everybody.
Sitaram.
On behalf of the members of the Kartal Krishna Mandir, we want to thank Swamiji for gracing us once again, because quite some time since he have come back here. The last time he was here, I was fortunate and blessed, because he was looking to give away a calf, and he didn't know who to give it. So I tell him it's a Krishna Mandir, and I would like to have a cow to stay at the Mandir. See, but thank God, finally I get somebody to give it. But I was unfortunate a year and a half after, because they stole the cow. So I lost it. But I want to say it's a blessing for you to come to share that knowledge once again with us. And you are welcome anytime, because the first call I get, the person I talked to, the correspondent was lost, but then I got a second call, and I said, yes, it's open, Swamiji can come to the temple, and he can have his discourse. So I want to thank you again, and thank all the members who have turned out to grace us with their divine presence. I pray that whatever Swamiji has shared with us, that we'll take some of it, take it and practice it in our daily life to become a better human being, a devotee of God, and so tread the pathway of devotion to enlightenment. I'm going to thank you again. Prince Bolo Siyapati Ramachandra Ki Jai.
Thank you, Narayanji. Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Sita Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Sita Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Sita Ram, Ram Ram.
Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Sita Ram, Ram Ram.
Syawar Ramachandra ki jai. Thank you. Okay, आरती के लिए सब खड़े हो जाइए. We'll see after. आरती श्री रामायण जी की कीरति कलित ललित सियपी की. आरती श्री रामायण जी की कीरति कलित ललित सियपी की. गावत ब्रह्मादिक मुनि नारद वाल्मीक विज्ञान विशारद. सुख सनकादि शेष अरु सारद परनि पवन सुत कीरति नीकी.
आरती श्री रामायण जी की कीरति कलित ललित सियपी की.
तावत् वेद पुराण अष्टदश छो शास्त्र सब ग्रंथन को रस मुनिजन धन संतन को सर्वस सार अंश सम्मत सब
आरती श्री रामायण जी की कीर्ति करे कलवित सियति आरती श्री रामायण जी की कीर्ति करे कलवित सियति
तावत् संतत शंभु भवानी अरुगत संभव मुनि विज्ञानी व्यास आदि कवि जब खानी कागभूषुंड गरुड़ के
आरती श्री रामायण जी की कीर्ति करे कलवित सियति आरती श्री रामायण जी की कीर्ति करे कलवित सियति
कलिमल हरनि विषय रस फीकी जुबग सिंगार मुक्ति जुबती जलन रोग भव मूरियमी की तात मात सब विधि तुलसी की
आरती श्री रामायण जी की कीर्ति करे कलवित सियति आरती श्री रामायण जी की कीर्ति करे कलवित सियति
हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल
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 हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल
हरि बोल हरि
हरि
बोल
बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल
हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल
हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल
हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल
हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल मंगलम भगवान विष्णु मंगलम गरुड़ ध्वज मंगलम पुंडरीकाक्षम मंगलायतनो हरि मंगलम भगवान
मंगल माता च पिता त्वमेव त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव ॐ पूर्णमद पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ओम। सियावर रामचंद्र की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय, बोल भाई सब संतन की जय, श्री सत्य सनातन धर्म की जय। नमः पार्वती पते हर हर महादेव। हरि ओम तत्सत।
As we come to the end of tonight's broadcast, we say thank you to all our corporate sponsors, T.N. Ramnath and Company Limited, CP's Plumbing and Electrical Supplies, A1 Motor Supplies, Bose Securities Limited, R. Bhagwat and Sons Limited, Prasad's Investment Limited, Laura Construction Company, and L&R Rajaram Contracting Services, Jala Prasad Supermarket, and Prasad Home Improvement Store. We say a special thank you to all these sponsors who would have joined with us to make tonight's broadcast possible. Tonight, the 96th night of 108, a project of the Chinmaya mission of Trinidad and Tobago as they celebrate their 25th anniversary. Live from the Karatal Krishna Mandir with Dashadoha chanting from Uttarakhand, Doha 11 to 20. We invite you to join us tomorrow evening at 6:30 on 101.7 FM as we will be bringing you the 97th night of broadcast from Avocat. This is Andy Sergiu saying thank you, good night, and returning you to Master Control and the capable hands of DJ Robin.